Right, 7 September 2024. And today I want to say it's a very interesting day because for the first time we have Starlink in Zimbabwe, and Starlink represents a connection to the internet at a speed that has never been seen in Zimbabwe. So if you know very well the current situation in Zimbabwe, we have had situations where people have had to go on top of mountains to connect to the internet, and connections in cities are very weak to the point that it's almost impossible to do business in Zimbabwe. And most times when you buy data from the service providers, which are the networks in Zimbabwe, it doesn't really help. The internet is very slow, especially in outlying areas. It's almost impossible to do business. And when I'm in places like Kariba, I normally have to even use networks from Zambia so that I can connect. But what is interesting is that today, Starlink is now available in Zimbabwe, and I was actually able to register this evening. I've not completed my order, but I can show you that I am able to register on Starlink right now. It's not impossible. So if you look here, you see that high internet is available. High-speed internet is now available in Zimbabwe. And if I just type my city here, which is Bulawayo, that is where I live, and I can put Bulawayo, Zimbabwe here, and I can place an order. This is now possible for me to buy Starlink in Zimbabwe, and there are two particular packages that are available, which is the standard and the mini. And the standard, I think, is 350, and then the mini. So you can see here, standard is 350, and then the mini is 200, and that is for me in Bulawayo here. Very easy to order, and I'm going to be completing my order very, very soon because I've got plans, as I told you in the past, that we've got plans to provide free internet, and I'll be announcing where we're going to be providing this free internet. So this means there is no Wicknell Chivayo, there is no IMC communications of Wicknell Chivayo involved here. They're not going to be providing, at least for now, they're not going to be providing Starlink. And what this means is that for the first month or two, Starlink is going to go into a test phase, because I've seen that they're doing testing here. And I don't want to go ahead of myself and say they're not going to be working with Chivayo. But what I know is that Chivayo is not the one who is supplying these kits. And I've done some research. So I went and looked at other people who are online who are speaking. And Wicknell Chivayo is out, definitely not involved in this at all. He's not communicated anything. Opo Chingono has gone and provided some information. And he says that the kits are coming through DHL. So if you go to Wopo Chingono's Twitter, you are going to see that he has provided information that he says there was a meeting this week in Harare involving DHL, a law firm representing Starlink, the Secret Service, the Defense Ministry, and Zimra regarding Starlink, according to my sources at Starlink. Starlink was supposed to dispense the first 1,500 kits from America to Harare this week, but they were informed that Potras needed to sign off first, which has now been done. Potras will also inspect and verify the kits upon their arrival in Harare. Starlink resisted a proposal for a 50% stake with Wicknell Chivayo's IMC receiving 40%, and the controversial Mtapa Fund receiving 10%. So these guys had said they want to break down this deal so that Starlink gets 50%, Wicknell gets 40%, and Mtapa gets 10%, and Starlink refused that deal. My Starlink source told me this morning that they rejected the deal because the other parties were not bringing anything to the table except political capital. The Starlink Africa and Middle East contact informed me that they'll be shipping the first 1,500 kits this morning, test kits this morning, through DHL, and they should arrive in Harare within the week for pre-go live regulatory local compliance activities by Potras. My sources told me that when units are imported via DHL, they are shipped under a global arrangement called DDP. SpaceX, which runs Starlink, pays the duty upfront to ensure a seamless customer experience, avoiding waiting times and delays for customers. So the Starlink website price includes customer duties according to my Starlink source. So according to what Opochimono is saying here, there is no IMC communications. And once you receive your kit, it goes directly to your house. You can plug and play and you'll be able to have internet. And what I want to suggest here is if you want to work with us, we want to provide internet for free. And we want to start with 10 locations, as I said, across Zimbabwe, which will be in disadvantaged areas. So if you want to assist me and work with me on this project, where we provide at least 10 locations. So I'm talking here about places like in the high density areas, we can go and set up one place and set up a 24-hour location there. And this will be totally free for the youngsters who can come and connect to the internet for free. This is uncapped, so there's no barrier here. And so you can contact me here if you want to help me with this setup. I said this before, we're going to have 10 locations where we offer free internet through Starlink. So I don't know how this is going to work, how we're going to get the kids, 10 kids, because I see when I'm applying, you only get one opportunity, but we'll figure it out. So WhatsApp me on that number if you want to help us with one, getting the Starlink kit and sponsoring a location in the disadvantaged areas where we'll be having a 24-hour connection over there. Very exciting. I love connections like this, where people can go on the internet. When I grew up in Bulawayo, I went to school in the village in Masvingo. Then in my grade 7, I went to Bulawayo. I had never read a book before. Like the only books I read were the ones in class. Serious, I'm not joking. So when I went to Bulawayo for the first time, I had access to the library. I would walk from my school at Zinda and then pass by Chawalala and pick up a book every day and walk 2 to 3 kilometers to my house, read that book overnight, bring it back the next day, and pick up another book. I think we need to do the same for the youngsters who are in Zimbabwe, provide them with access to the internet so that they can watch Gambakwe, they can watch all the guys who are always online here. And guys, this is an amazing opportunity. Be part of this opportunity and also of this initiative to provide free internet, which is now being made possible by Starlink. I'm so excited. We are spending so much money at Gambakwe every month. We spend $500 in Zimbabwe on internet. And this internet doesn't work. It's slow and our guys can't post. It's very difficult to do anything. We can't do teleconferencing. So the coming of Starlink is amazing. And I hope that the existing service providers get the punishment that they deserve. So I hope that people will move away from these guys until they improve their service, until they do what needs to be done. There is no reason that Zimbabwe has been where it is right now, where people in Kariba have to struggle so much, people in Nyanga have to struggle, people in Masvingo. If you go to Masvingo, it's the worst place for internet. I've bought 50 gigs there and I couldn't use it at all. So I hope that these guys get the punishment that they deserve and they understand what a customer is. Right, let's move to the next thing. And I also hope that Wicknell doesn't get any access to Starlink money. Let's move to Namatai Kwekwedza. Namatai Kwekwedza has tweeted for the first time since she was released from jail. So you can go and check out the long tweet by Namatai Kwekwedza. She has spoken about the experience in jail and she has thanked everyone who assisted with getting her out. So it's amazing to see Namatai Kwekwedza out and about and very, very strong, coming out very strongly. I like it. I like Namatai Kwekwedza. I have not met her myself. I was supposed to meet her for the first time, where she was supposed to present at Stellenbosch here, but I don't know what happened. We just sort of missed each other. I don't know if she did that presentation. But this is amazing. Young people doing great things in Zimbabwe. And guys, what we need to do is we need to be totally present in this situation. We're just at the end. Things are about to change in our country, to change for the better. But these are the most difficult times. When we get to this point, the worst thing that can happen is to replace Mnangagwa with someone worse than Mnangagwa. That would be a disaster. So we must make sure that whoever is coming after Mnangagwa is not a disaster. And I think we've got a good opportunity here. Something good is about to happen, but we must avoid the bad thing from happening. And we must also avoid the third term. This third term thing that Mnangagwa is trying to do, we must discourage everyone from this third term thing. We must discourage Mnangagwa from putting his friends and cronies, and we must make sure that whoever comes after Mnangagwa is a person that will change our country and will support proper development and to do very, very well. So you know what I've been saying here. The military in Zimbabwe is the last line of defense, and everyone is watching how they're going to react to all this talk of a third term. And obviously, today there was a very big event in Gutu, and this was the burial of the father of Elliot Rushwaya. I think he's called Henry Rushwaya, so you can go check it out on all the state press. Her father passed away in Midlands, and he was buried in Gutu, so you can go check out that burial that happened today. So that is the father of Elliot Rushwaya, the ZBC board chairman, and the whole family was out there. So you can see the sisters, you can see yourself, and you can also see the guy from ZANU-PF, the third term guy from ZANU-PF, Ezra Chadzamira. I think he was over there talking about third term again. So that's him there. This guy, he's always everywhere. He's like Owen Muda, the old Muda of Masvingo. So Owen Muda does Midlands, and this guy does Masvingo, and they're always talking about third term. What a disaster. And then, obviously, we have a lot of activities happening, most of them not political. There's sort of like a stalemate happening, the opposition not doing much, the ruling party trying to test people to see if they're going to agree to a third term. So this is where we are. And this next week, we've got an important event, and this is the trial of Frank Buyanga. This is going to be a game-changing trial, because you're going to see if Frank Buyanga comes out or not. He is a very close business person to General Chiwenga. This is one billionaire who is very close to General Chiwenga. He's been in jail for almost 2 years now. He went into jail in August 2022, and on Friday, he filed his papers. So by Tuesday, there's going to be a judgment, and I think the latest by Thursday, we're going to hear if he's going to be released or not, because of the child that he has with one lady in Zimbabwe. And he was arrested because the Zimbabwe government requested for him to be arrested. So it is said that he crossed Mnangagwa's kids or sons, because Chantel, the woman that he's got a child with, is rumored to be having a relationship with one of Mnangagwa's sons. So let's see what happens here. This is going to be an amazing case. Let's see if they let him out in South Africa. He has lost a lot of money, I think almost $1 billion in diamonds and gold that was taken from his house by the South African police. So you check it out. We've carried this story for a long, long time, almost over the past 2 years. And I've also had a direct interview with Chantel Mteso, which I'm going to publish very, very soon, as soon as I finish my edits. But I think we've covered everything here. My job is to make sure that we are present almost on a daily basis. 9:10 p.m. I'm here, 5 a.m. in the morning, we're here. We want to create an environment where information flows. Let's look at the comments before I go to sleep. Hi, Gambakwe. The money you're talking about is in dollars. Yes. $350 for the kit, standard, $200 for the light kit. So let me call it properly here. The mini is $200 and the standard is $350. You can go right now to Starlink.com. You'll be able to see, and if you're in Zimbabwe, you'll be able to order right now. You can order this thing. It will be in your house next week. So Starlink is available. It's live right now. You won't have that slow internet that we've been having. So it's amazing. And then Mkoma Edmo says, Mnangagwa arkuraiwa nenzara. Yes, definitely. Nangagwa arura vanhu nenzara, Nangagwa is destroying our country. Now, I salute you, Mr. Gambakwe. When the so-called ZIG was introduced, you told the people that this currency will fail parabolically. You are a prophet. Okay, let me explain to you about currencies. Currencies move the same way. And so, guys, listen very carefully when I talk about currencies. Currencies move the same way everywhere. So, currencies move up and down, and then they consolidate. When a currency is moving up, it always moves up. When a currency is moving down, it's always moving down. When a currency is consolidating, it is resting. So it is taking orders from the top and taking orders from the bottom. And when everyone is agreed that that is the level of the currency, it consolidates. Then when people now, the buyers and the sellers, when the buyers feel that they are paying too much, they stop buying and the currency will go down. If buyers feel that they're paying too little, then the sellers will dominate and the currency will go up and the graph will be going up. What is happening in Zimbabwe is that there is a bunch of fake money that is sitting in the banks. So the banks are releasing it little by little, little by little. When I talk of fake money, is when the currency changed from the Zimbabwe dollar to the ZiG, a lot of fake money was created in the system, which doesn't exist. And it's sitting in suspense account, ATM accounts, branch accounts, and so forth. So they release it, and then they wait and see if you can buy, if you want to buy at that price. And then when they see that now you don't accept the price, they let the price go up, then they release a little bit. Eventually, what you're going to see is the ZiG going down to zero, because the fake ZiG is more than the real ZiG. And also, they are doing what is called banning. So banning is when they preempt that the ZiG is going to crash harder. So they're going to release fake ZiG and sell it and buy dollars. And then they will create a fake account which they delete and they wait. And then one day when the ZiG is at 100, they're going to put back those numbers and change them at the correct rate. That's called banning. It's been happening in Zimbabwe. It's a scam that is carried out by financial services. And the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe do not know how to deal with it. You saw it at Net1. So Net1 is a classic example. Someone was able to log into the system of Net1, their payment system, and they injected fake ZiG in there and they changed it. There is no way those guys can find out what money is changing. At the end of the day, they've got no clue what is happening. If you ask the guys at EcoCash and the guys at the Net Money or Net1 Money, they have no clue what is happening in the system. They don't know what is happening right now at a village in Mrehwa or at a village in Kariba. Those transactions at the end of the day, they are fluid and they are moving. So until they fix the banking system in Zimbabwe such a way that only banks can transact and every transaction is real-time seen in the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, then you will have this problem of fake ZiG. There is no country in the whole world which allows what is happening in Zimbabwe, which is EcoCash holding balances, which is Inbox holding balances, Net1 holding balances. That is crazy. And then the banks themselves, if you go to every bank, you're going to see a balance sheet at the bank. Those balance sheets, most of them, they don't correspond with what's in the systems, what's in the suspense accounts, what's in the closed accounts, what's in the dormant accounts. I worked at the bank and I used to do a system, a thing called end of day, something called end of day. At the end of the day, that is the only time when the banks in Zimbabwe know what is happening across the system. So this is a massive problem, and you have to put in the mix Zim switch. I don't know whether it's still called Zim switch, and there's another one, another switch. A massive disaster in Zimbabwe. And this thing, the ZiG is fake. It's not money. If you see it, swipe it. Don't keep any ZiG in your bank account. That is why you see the government doesn't accept it. The shops don't accept it. And when they accept it, they inflate it. That thing is fake. It's not money. And I find it difficult to understand why Wicknell Chivayo is accepting Zig, because that thing is a mess. Whoever came up with the Zig made a very bad mistake. It's not money. So I tend to get carried away when I talk about the Zig because I hate that thing. Then Julie said, Gamba, why didn't you go to Zimbabwe during Saturday? You said I already accepted this. I already said this. I don't want to get arrested, so I will not go to Zimbabwe to get arrested. And then Mkomamanja says, scammers the whole country. Where are we going? Yes, you are going nowhere with Mnangagwa. So what we need to do is we all need to become part of the solution. And I can see that my internet is starting to freeze. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly bring this to an end because I'm going to come back tomorrow anyway at 5 a.m. So let's recap so that you understand what I said before I go. So what I said is that Starlink is now available in Zimbabwe directly. You can go to the Starlink website. I've shown you that you can actually go there right now and you can order your Starlink. You don't need any third party. You can actually go there right now. I've shown you, here it is. So you can just put your location here. My location in Bulawayo, there are 2 kits. There is the standard kit and the mini kit, $200 deposit, and then $30 a month. This is very cheap. It's the cheapest internet that you can ever get in Zimbabwe. And then you will receive your kit from DHL at your address within the next week or 2. And also, Hopo Chimono has described what is happening there, the meetings between Starlink, the lawyers, and Minister of Defense and the Ministry of Intelligence. I don't know what they call the Minister of Intelligence, Minister of State Security or something. So that the meeting this week, Chimono has explained, you can go and check it out there. So amazing time coming, but it's a disaster for the networks. 1 or 2 of those networks is going to report a loss this year if people do what I think they're going to do. I'm already spending $500 a month on internet. Why the hell would I not spend another $200 and then go on to spend $30 a month, have uncapped internet and use it wherever I go in Zimbabwe? That is an amazing change, and I love Starlink. Right, and as I said, I've already explained in Mkoma Crow, when you go to starlink.com and you can get your Starlink right now. I'm not talking about tomorrow, I'm talking about right now. You can get it. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And I'll see you in the morning, 5 a.m. and a good night.